Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming. If you don't know me, you might have, if you're on Drupal.org, you've probably seen my name somewhere. If not, I'm one of the Drupal contrib module maintainers, pretty active in the community. So I'm here to talk about a number of subjects. One of them is contributing to open source, and in particular Drupal. Why would you want to do that? There's several reasons why. What can so I'll talk about that. So basically, you know, I listed out a couple of reasons why I think it's a good idea to contribute. Once you start contributing, especially on Drupal.org, your contributions get indexed by Google. So then if anybody does a Google search on your name, they'll see like a gazillion times your name. You've been in talking in issue queues and whatnot. And then it boosts your profile and can help improve visibility. So some clients, they like, especially in the Drupal community, it's kind of like a meritocracy. That's how open source works. So the more you contribute and you show that you can resolve issues, and if you're a maintainer, if you become a maintainer, you can you can show that you're responsible and a good community member. So and it kind of gets addicting after a while too. Like yeah, I don't know why I've gotten into a habit of looking over. I have like a mailbox for my Drupal.org issues. It goes into a mailbox folder. So anyway.
And then you don't look at it?
No, I look at it. Yeah. So if we just look here, just click on this. Where'd my mouse go? There we go. Oop. I'm problems with my mouse. Just drag it over here. Yeah, there we go. So if you look at somebody's profile, you see credited on issues, and then if you click on commits, you'll see like a total of commits, and it's all indexed by Google, right? So yeah, then GitHub has that too, kind of similar idea. Oop. Okay, so I'll go to the next slide here. So how to get started? Basically, if you just work through Drupal, obviously you're gonna find things. So if you have a problem, the best thing to do is just be lazy. Basically, because if you have a new issue and you're reporting the same thing over again, or if you're working on a patch and like, oh, somebody's already made that patch. Well, that's what open source is about. You don't want to repeat that work. So how to make a patch. This presentation is available to download, so don't have to write it down or anything. So I've put some links on how to become a maintainer. There's a link that explains the process. Before I get into that, basically, yeah, let's see here. Yeah, so how do projects get abandoned? Well, different things happen. People go on a project, they move on, they get disinterested, or they get bored of the project, so they move on. One of the projects I took over was media, And the guy, Aaron Winborn, he had cancer and he died. So he didn't have, there was nothing happening. There was a couple maintainers, and there was a lot of, at the time when I took over, it took a lot of patches to make it work. So I don't really become maintainer because I want to become maintainer. Because I just don't like using patches and I'm impatient. So so I think this work has actually, helped me gain contracts, and because I'm a contractor, generates money, so revenue. So here, let's talk a little bit about running your own server. Basically, I was explaining before the session started that one time I had installed WetKit, the distribution, and it has the Government of Canada logo, and I had set it up on a virtual private server. So the hosting managers of that virtual private server hosting service, they saw that I had this website and they thought I was phishing. I was setting up a phishing scam to pretend to spoof as a Government of Canada website. They didn't know that I'm one of the developers of the that was contributing to the WetKit distro, and that my clients are the Government of Canada. So but before if you ever have that problem, you just never avoid that problem altogether, because if you just set up a basic auth on your vhost, nobody can see your stuff, so that's a good idea. But that led me to setting up my own servers. So right now I have 2 different clients on my servers. It's easy to spin up once you have it running, and why do I do it? Well, it's a business write-off, and if you want to, the skills that it takes time, but the skills that you develop in setting things up, a lot of times it completes you as a developer. Like you know more about the operating system and the web hosting. So I think it's worth the effort, at least in my case. Maybe not for everybody, but so there's some really good documentation on setting this up. So there's a lot of reasons why you'd want to do this. So I'm just outlining that. So I talked about that. So my server here, I brought it for showpiece. This is my warm spare. So basically I have the production server. It's at my house. And I built 2 servers. So the one that's going to be live and the other one that's a spare. So basically the idea of this is if your production server gets hacked into, or if you run a script like I did the other day, and you can have a rogue script and like rm star whatever -rf. I blew away my home directory the other day doing that. It was really dumb. And I just went on to my warm spare here and I picked up my files and there I went. So it's got both the servers have the exact same drives. So basically 2 SSD drives, 500 gigs in a software RAID, and 2 Western Digital 4 terabyte drives mounted as a data partition. So that way, what I find it's good about this configuration is I can actually live clone my production server and copy it over to my warm spare. So whether it's through the network or through just that USB device there. So I have some documentation that I created for you guys if you wanted to see it later, but on using disk DD for disk clone. And what else see here? So basically, yeah, your RAID mirror, if one of your drives fails, which happens quite often, except for on this server, I put high-end drives, so I haven't had a physical hardware failure yet, but I used to run a Seagate drive, Maxter and Seagate drives, and they would crash all the time. So one server I had like 3 or 4 drives blow in a period of about 3 years. So, but now with the SSD drives that I'm running, I haven't had any problems. But even if they did, it's redundant, which allows you to clone it. You can knock off one of your redundant drives and clone it, like I was saying. So I have set up some documentation here on disk cloning. It's there's other ways to back up your stuff. You can do rsync diff. I don't know what it is. There's a few different tools.
Backup, maybe.
Which one?
RDiff backup, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. I was talking to a few guys about different strategies, but I kind of use the Brent. I just do the exact clone, and it takes a little while, but it's worth it until I find something else another way. But so yeah, setting all this up, it's initial work at the start, but once you have it running, there isn't really a lot of work to do except for like renewing Letsencrypt certs, which is free. Actually, and you can set up a cron job for that, but I've had a little bit of bumps with that. I'll go into that later, but so yeah, there's really good documentation, step-by-step documentation on running, setting up ISPConfig. And I'm gonna add some documentation onto the website I showed you here. It's at the bottom of the page here. For different, I'll add some scripts and stuff. It's kind of a work in progress. So I'll do a little demo of what ISPConfig looks like. So I'll just go onto my live server and show. Here we go. So let's see here, bring this over. So I don't know, I have it on 8080, I should probably change it. But all the websites that put up are on SSL 443 or port 80 for HTTP. What the hell's going on here? Oh, they're blocking port 8080. That is lame. That's another reason why I should probably get it off 880. If I can connect to my... I have a very weak signal here, so I might be able to connect with my phone. Should be a second. Let's get off the Ottawa connection. Come on. 1 bar. I think it'll be enough. Okay. So I have 1 bar connection. Let's see if it works. Oh yeah. That's all I need. So this is the ISPConfig login. I also have.
Can you zoom in actually?
What's that?
Can you zoom in, like?
Yeah, sure.
Control plus or whatever.
Sure thing. So this is like kind of like it's kind of like a cPanel type of thing. I've got it in French, but you can change the language. So basically, let's see here, what we got here. Status shows the status of the server. There's all kinds of information you get. So I have a bunch of websites. I'll just show you an example of one of the configs. So basically, it's all GUI stuff. You create, it's got a DNS wizard. You can create DNS entries. Let me see here. You can set up multiple PHP versions. So I have 5, 6, 7, all up to 7.3. And here, you can add in the options for PHP. So in my dev environments, I increase the post max size, max input time, and then here I've got my basic auth set up. So there's a doc root variable you can use, and yeah, it's pretty good. So I'll just show you one of the sites, Gazette. So this is PSPC, one of the clients I'm working on right now. And this was an Open Plus site, and somehow I ended up getting this taken over. But basically, yeah, so it's Drupal. So you can set up mailboxes as well. So I have mailboxes galore. You can set up aliases. It's got Spam Assassin. All this is in the docs. And I'm also running Docker on here. So if you like GitLab, it's pretty easy to run your own GitLab server with Docker. It's a one-line command. I put this in to set up Docker, GitLab on Docker. It's literally one single line command to install it and load it up. It's quite amazing. So let's see here. So we'll go back to the presentation slide here. Yeah, where is that? Yeah, here's the Docker command. So to run Docker, whoop, where the hell did it go? Yeah, so basically to run GitLab on Docker, basically these are all just parameters. And so what I'm doing is I'm mapping the host folder to the Docker, one of the folders in the Docker image. So there's two things you need in GitLab. There's configuration and data. So if you map the two, the configuration and data, and you just tell it which version you want, it'll go and download it, download that version of GitLab from Docker Hub. It will spin it up, and I'm telling it to restart always. So if you restart your server, automatically restarts. The beauty with this is you can run on a single static IP address. You can run Apache and NGinx on the same IP address, both being bound to port 80. So I use a reverse proxy for that. So you set up a vhost in with ISPConfig. That's what I did, and then with a reverse proxy, you tell it to basically forward. I'm using port 8928, so I just say anything coming in at port 443, reverse proxy it to 8928, and then it just handles it. So the only little trouble I have is with SSL certs. The script to renew the certs has some funky rewriting and rules to make it happen. It's a funky URL thing, and it puts the new certs in the Apache vhost. So I just have to copy the certs over to the configuration that's mapped here. Actually, it's in the where is the config? Yeah, it's config here. So it'll be config /etc GitLab somewhere, some folder. So yeah, that's Docker is pretty cool. Also, on to our next subject, upgrading Drupal 7 to Drupal 8 modules. So basically, it's a pretty tedious thing if you do it from hand without any help. that's where this Drupal module upgrader project comes in handy, and it's got a pretty recent version. They fixed quite a few things in it. Basically, you install this module in Drupal 8. Why didn't it open it? So you install Drupal module upgrader, and then you just put your Drupal 7 module into a folder according to the documentation. You run a drush command to run the upgrade, and it will actually convert your Drupal 7 code into Drupal 8. It's not going to do a 100% port, like that's ridiculous, but it does convert a lot of the common things. And if you're not familiar with Drupal 8 and you're coming from Drupal 7, the fact that it's doing it for you, and then if you look at the source code, it tells you, it puts in comments which function is deprecated if it didn't already replace it automatically. So I could probably do a demo quickly on that if you wanted. Let me see here. Now that I have a connection that's not blocking ports. Let's see here. Let's just fire up my terminal. So, I'm in. Okay. So, just for the purpose of the demo, I can't remember which user account that I set up this site on. So I'm just going to root in. D8 dev, I think it is. Web. Okay, so where is this site? Doc root. Oh, I can't remember now. I think it's in here. Yeah, there it is. Drupal module upgrader. Okay, so I did a recent upgrade. Okay, book access. Okay, git. Okay, rm. I'm just gonna redo this. So I'm just gonna delete the book access module. This is a Drupal 7 module. So I'm gonna just restore it. Oh, the module's back. So now it's Drupal 7. So I'm just gonna go. There it is. So I use I don't know. This is how I like. I forgot what the command is. I'm just gonna look through my history. So there's a command here. Oh, okay. So I think you just put the name of the module that you want to upgrade. Oh, there it is. We're great developers.
Can you zoom into that too?
Sure, yeah. Let's go here. Plus. Let's zoom in. How do I zoom in? Ah, here we go. What the hell? Come on. Ah, there we go. Okay, so we go into the book access folder. You see we've got YAML files. It's converted YAML. I think it left behind some of the crap, some of the old stuff. So you can see the old book access info file there, and then the Drupal book access info YAML. So Drupal 8 rather. So if we go into some of the files here, it's going to show us, let's see, what do we got here? There we go. What's this here? Drupal query, where is it? It's supposed to leave comments to say which functions are deprecated. So where is this here? Looks like it's automatically replaced this call. This, I'm suspecting DB query range, that's a deprecated function. I don't know why it's, I don't have the latest, I don't think I have the latest version of this module, so some of this stuff might be fixed now. I was working, I'm actually one of the maintainers of this module too, so, but there was some recent work that went into it to improve it, so. It doesn't pick up all of the Drupal 7 API, but it does get the majority of the frequently used stuff. Just trying to see, should be more stuff saying the comments. Query object, role-based. Okay, here we go. Here's something it did. It says, could not extract. So this is the Drupal module upgrader telling you that it didn't know what to do, so it's suggesting what you might do to make it Drupal 8 compatible. So it does a lot. It does help a lot. And I've used it before for a custom module and a contrib module. I did an upgrade. The views published or has role. Views published or roles. That's one of the ones I upgraded. And it's on Drupal.org in Drupal 8 now, thanks to this module. So yeah, now it's saying, oh, it doesn't know how to upgrade variable get, but at least it's telling you it doesn't know, and so you have to fix it manually. So like I said, it doesn't do everything, but it sure helps. Also, it picks up the routing, so, and it will, pretty sure it makes routes too. It did the controller classes. So, book access. Let's see. Class. Current user. So it automatically replaced, that's a Drupal 8 call. Just automatically fixed that. Query object condition. DB select I think is still Drupal 8 compatible, but it's deprecated. So that has to be changed too, but it'll still work in Drupal 8 though. Like DB select will still work, but it is deprecated, so it should be fixed. It should be upgraded for Drupal 9. So if you want your stuff working for Drupal 9, you want to get all those deprecated stuff. There is I think there's some tools. Maybe Colin, you could tell us which tool might be for finding all the deprecated functions.
I haven't used too much that I can't remember what it was called, but there's I think a command line tool you can run, and it'll just spit out here are all your deprecated methods or function calls or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember that name either, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So we're programmers. We're lazy. We like to find tools that are going to do a lot of this stuff. So
I think if you're using the the test pod on Drupal.org for modules, I think they've baked it into that. Yeah. So now if you use the tests in contrib Drupal.org, it'll tell you if you're putting deprecated code in there.
yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, it does in the automated tests, and I think now they have it so you can just enable a test, and it's just going to do a fake test. It'll do things like that. It'll check for code style.
Yeah, because remember in the beginning when I first brought that out, it just didn't work. But
Yeah.
it should at least see if it can apply the patch and make sure there's nothing deprecated, so that's good.
So here's something we can do here. We can just see, we can use Git to see what the difference it is. So I've got the Drupal 7 code in the Git, and it's going to see there's a diff here. So what did the script do? It replaced Drupal write record. It replaced with a merge, Drupal 8 call. And yeah, entity type manager, node load. So it replaced node load automatically. There's how you do it. I didn't even have to look at the API. It's like, it's right there. So this is very helpful. And yeah, so go nuts.
I'm assuming it doesn't do anything complicated like dependency injection or any of that stuff. Oh, okay. Sorry, say that louder so we can all.
They're like to get current user, that's not actually correct dependency injection. It's the shortcut /Drupal.
Yes. Yeah, you should put use at the top and there's other ways.
But it's better than nothing. This works pretty well, it seems.
Well, yeah. And the fact it's even writing your your YAML files, you know.
Yeah.
This is, of course, if you upgrade to the latest version of Drupal Module Upgrader. Let's see here.
Yeah,
Maybe.
So it does all the boilerplate stuff for you, like the YAML files.
Let's see if I pull the latest version. Oh, look, I just pulled the latest version. I don't know if it's gonna. We'll see. I can redo it. So I'm just gonna remove all the crap in here. And let's see here. Let's rerun the script. Hopefully, I know they put in a patch for Drupal 9, Drush 9, sorry. And I'm using Drush 8 here, so hopefully it works with Drush 8 now still with the upgrade. So I just pulled the latest version of the module upgrader code. We're gonna redo it and see what happened. Oh, now it's throwing up a bunch of errors. Oh, that's no good. Did it do errors before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ah, of course it's gonna have errors. It doesn't do everything. Okay, let's see if there's anything different here. Oh, it removed DB query range. I don't think it did that the first time, did it? So yeah, it's getting better. So that's the great thing. Be a laggard and wait. Things get easier. That's why I'm still using Drupal 7 a lot, because this lagger. I'm not a big fan of early adopting. What's that? Yes, yeah. So.
But it is more fun though.
Well.
Bigger adventure.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just going to talk to you. I have a RAID set up here. So this is kind of what a RAID looks like. We were talking about the server setup. I'll just explain. UU means I have two devices in this RAID. And the fact that they're both U means they're up. So I have two RAID devices, MD1 and MD0. And I put some documentation on all the commands we can do, all the fun commands. Where is it? Right here. So if you want to fail your device, you can re-add it. Oh, actually, this is a failure. You have to remove it first before you can re-add it. This is how to clone a device. This is how to watch the progress of your clone. Of your dump. This is I'm dumping the disk into a zip file. So you can actually get the results, like see how far it's copied. You run that command, find the process ID. So you grab the process ID and then you say kill-user1. It's not really killing the process, it's just poking it a little bit. Yeah, so anyway, what else do we have here? I put a little bit of blurb here for ISPConfig. It's not there's so much. There's really great documentation for ISPConfig on How2Forge. The guy who created How2Forge, he also created ISPConfig. His name is, I think, what's his name? I forgot his name, but he's very active and he responds to you if you have questions. Hopefully valid questions. So yeah, another thing I was going to talk about, I'm just getting into Laravel right now. So trying to think about different ways to maybe use different types of systems with Drupal. Obviously, Laravel has a great JSON API. So anything that consumes JSON, which is about everything right now, so you can just imagine that. Anybody here use Laravel? No?
Is it running Symfony as well? Or?
Yeah, it's based on Symfony. And basically, the reason why I want to run, I don't know if I have it here. Let me see here. Get my.
The Linux Foundation was using Drupal and switched over to Laravel.
Let me just see here. Where's my? I'll get out of the screen. Laravel. Oh, I'm in the wrong. I have to be on my host here, Laravel. Stop. Experimental. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I just set up a local instance of Laravel. Here we go. So this is a Laravel project I just picked up on GitHub. I don't know if I have my account. Maybe I just create an account here.
Can you zoom that a bit?
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh, I already have an account. What's my password?
Password comfy 3.
Let's try this.
Admin.
It's not liking me. Where's my password? Maybe it is password 1.
Guess you can't use trustworthy on Laravel.
Come on.
You're missing a password reset.
Yeah, that's the thing. Laravel doesn't do all the stuff that Drupal has out of the box. So you have to
Build it.
you have to include all these things and it's wind them together. I'll just try something else here. Test. Password. Is it gonna work? Test 1. Come on. What? What are you talking about? Tester. Okay, let's test again. Let's see. Test 2. Try something more complex. Oh, something went wrong. Username. Tester 2. It was telling me, I just didn't look. Okay, yeah, whatever. Tester, was it tester 2? Come on. There we go. So this is using, Laravel with Vue 2. I haven't totally figured out yet how it works. So basically, yeah, this is a stock trader application. I just downloaded it from GitHub, and I started working on it, and I the guy who wrote it, he wrote it in 2017, and he kind of abandoned it. So he was happy to see that I'd actually done something with it. So I'd done something here. So you can add your own stocks. It's going to connect to Yahoo Finance. There's where is this thing here? There's a graph. There we go. Nice fancy stuff here. So yeah, I have some ideas what I want to do with this, and I just have to find time. Maybe I'll just hire somebody. Okay. So yeah, I think we covered all the topics. Basically, server. One of the things I had fun with is that I bought a Risen processor with 16 threads. And I was like, and I was cloning my disk, and I'm like, oh man, this takes forever. Why is it so slow? I have a processor that can do better than this, right? And I discovered that gzip, yeah, it's single thread, right? So there's this tool called Pigz, P-I-G-Z. You can tell it to use all of your threads or almost all your threads or just a couple threads. And it 16-fold faster, like, was insane.
You can run any command through that thing?
It's command line compatible with gzip and gunzip, and I think it also understands tar and bz. So if you just go crazy and you buy yourself like a Risen 9 and you got like 32 threads or whatever, and you just want to rip through stuff, it's just really fast. So yeah. Oh, another thing with ISPConfig is pretty cool. I should have talked about is you can resell space on your server. So you see I have 2 accounts here. Each of these accounts has its own login to the ISP admin interface. And each of these accounts, you can set up DNSs, you can set up mailboxes, you can set up vhosts, and there's a quota option in there. So like, this is a sales manager here. He can set up a quota on your site. So you can say, okay, you can only use X number of bandwidth on this site, and we're going to monitor that. And if you want more, you're going to have to pay. So there's a billing functionality in this thing. It's pretty cool. Let's see here. So, yeah, revendeur. I should change this to English for you guys. Let's see here. English. Might have to refresh the page here. So yeah, you set up your own server. You can resell space on it. You can, I have it hosted in my house, so I have UPS devices. I only have one internet account, so my kids and wife and everybody uses the same internet provider, and it all goes through. Like I have 5. It comes with video. I have a Videotron connection, 5 static IPs, 1 static IP I have set up to a router, and then this one is outside the router on the outside. And then I have like 3 IPs I'm not using right now. And it's like $120 per month business plan. And if you're doing contracting, it's a business write-off. So the other good thing is any skills that you do setting up your own server, well, it's just another thing to put your CV and sell to clients. So let me see here. What do I have here? edit reseller. So I have resellers. So yeah, you can set up like a manager, and then now you can set up resellers. And if you go into the sites, there's I think there's backup options. I don't know if I have it set up here. Stats. Ah, where was it? I think I don't have the limits set up right here, but there's a way to like set quota limits on your bandwidth and all that. It's all monitored through the app. I've got it. I think it's disabled on my admin account. I go into DNS. It's got a wizard, so if you don't know how to set up like let's see here. DNS. Add new DNS with a wizard. Oh, yeah, I have to go in here. Records. So in your DNS settings, there's stuff like DMARC, which is for enhanced like email security and stuff. It's like I'm not even sure all of what it is. Like but there's like a wizard to create all these entries. So it helps your postfix server and all that. So it can get kind of involved with one of the things I had come up with is like I have my GitLab instance, and I wanted it to be able to send emails outside of my network. So I did have to go into postfix, and I had to whitelist my internal Docker IP addresses. So the Docker IP is like a 17.172.0.4 or something. So I had to whitelist all these Docker IPs so that the Docker containers could send email through the postfix. But otherwise, I didn't have to do anything really special, and your Drupal sites will just send emails with the default ISPConfig. Let's see here. Maybe I can go and grab that config option. Let's see here. It's on my server. So I just killed the Laravel thing. Let's go back. Go back to the server. Sudo su. I did backwards. So I'll go into my postfix configuration. Let's see here. Git log. So yeah, that's another thing I do. I put my etc config files into Git. So just in a local repo. So if anything I change, I just, it's my last commit here. Had a government client that was really dumb. Or is it? Oh no, this isn't it. Git show. I just want the current folder. Oh no, that's not where it is. Where is it? Git log. What the hell? Git show. Okay, I gotta take the hash code up there. 18D8193. So yeah, this is my last thing. I had a client and they couldn't send email to me. Or no. Yeah. I couldn't get their emails because they were routing, their email server was routing all their traffic through like a different IP than what their domain resolved to. So I whitelisted their mail server. So this is the hello access file. And I just I whitelisted all of these addresses. OTC is CTA, Canadian Transportation Agency. And then this one I think is for PCO. Oh no, sorry, that's for my mom. Because I was blocking Chopra.com. She's like a big Chopra person. Yeah, so I'm permitting all Government of Canada, Prime Minister's Office. Because the government really doesn't know how to run a mail server. Let's see here. So yeah, in here, I think what I did is I added like the whitelist file up here. Or no, I don't know what it is. I must have changed something there. Let's see here. Maybe it was an update. Crypto. Library path. It must have been a software update I did. There's some diff there. That's another thing to do. If you have a warm spare and you're like, you have a production server and you have the warm spare, you want to do a software update and you're afraid to like blow up your server. That's a production server. Well, I just clone it to the spare, and then if the upgrade fails for whatever reason, something breaks, I can just switch my spare as the live server and put it live. You know, so I've done it a few times. So basically, when I first set up my server, I set it up with Ubuntu 16.04, and I was like, okay, I want to see if I can get 18.04 on, right? And that's a pretty major upgrade. It's switching to a different kernel, switching to a different LTS version of Ubuntu. So I cloned everything to this warm spare, did the upgrade on the main server. It was actually pretty easy, and there was only a few hiccups. So I was able to like go live with it and then test it out, and you know, a couple days after like a few weeks and everything's working, you're like, okay, well, I can just do another update of my warm spare. So anytime I really want to do like an upgrade of something, I copy everything over to the warm spare and then do it. And then so if you're going to run your own server, I highly recommend 2, not just 1, like a warm spare. It just it's gonna save you so much trouble. Like, just like I was saying the other day, I ran a script, and I was like 2 a.m. I wasn't thinking, and the script had a bug in it. Wasn't checking to see if a folder exists before it deleted, and it went like cd ... It was like a relative thing. And it went cd ... rm.rf, and it was looking, and it had a list of like 40,000 projects it was looking at. I was actually, so the script was like cloning a bunch of Drupal.org projects. And it went cd ... rm-rf project name. And one of the project names was called home. So it went cd ... rm-rf home. And so it blew away my home folder. And I recovered, thankfully, because of this warm spare. So don't do stupid things if you write scripts. Relative paths are bad. Use a full path. Yeah. So I don't know. That pretty much wraps it up. I'll try to add more documentation to. I just set up. Actually, I'll show you my. Let's get out of here. So yeah, I just set up this site here for documentation, and it's the book module. It's built into Drupal core in Drupal 8 and Drupal 7. So I've got like a public documentation book, and I've got a private one too. So I'm gonna put like passwords probably in it and stuff. A little bit risky, but yeah, I'm just gonna it's a work in progress. So eventually, all the any changes I make, I have a change log. Put it in there. New techniques. I'm trying to, it's good to document all that stuff.
You're running a bunch of Drupal sites, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Are you just running them flat, doing multi-site? Are you running Ager, or are you doing any of that stuff? Or
Most of the sites, I'll show you. Actually, yeah, that's another thing I didn't even show you guys. Some of the sites I'm running. What is it? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, no, this. I'm running behind.
So that's why I'm asking if you're using it.
No, I'm not using that because I'm using basic auth. So this is Canadian Blood Services. So I'm just running. It's not public. I have a basic auth password. Nobody can access it.
This is for your development.
Yeah, it's for my development. And then I have another one here. I think it's Prime Minister's website. Let's see here. Prime Minister of Canada for a few days left.
So he calls you if he has problems.
Yeah, he calls me for technical support.
Sorry, couldn't help it.
Yeah. And then the Gazette one. So, no, I'm not running any caching right now. I'm a big fan of Boost. So I'll probably put Boost on at some point on my documentation site. But what other sites am I running? This is a Laravel site I'm running. Let's see here. There's another one. I have to log in. Anyway. No, let's see if I can get in here. It's going to let me in. Oh, yeah. So this is kind of like a book site. It's a Laravel, but it's kind of like the book module. So I have Laravel docs in here. Oh, come on. It's not opening. Something's wrong with it. So anyway, this is kind of like an experimental site, so I'm not using that for my documentation. I'm using the Drupal site. So yeah, I hope. Oh yeah, we should have probably talked about a little bit of Drupal.org. So if anybody wants to stick around. Yeah. I think it's like 5 minutes, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
So yeah. Searching through issue queues. Basically, I put it already in the presentation, but I always try to, if you're going to contribute like code to an issue, I was trying to see if there's already somebody else that's already put a patch up or that has the same issue before I create another issue. Because then if you're just creating duplicate issues, it just it can just make noise and create more work. Because there could be another queue, somebody's had put in a patch already, and you put another patch, but it's in a different issue. Well, you have to link the two issues together or put the patches in the same issue to really compare them. So, and the other thing is if somebody has already created that patch, you're not going to want to create it again. You know, why do the work? Be lazy. So that's it. Any comments, questions? All right. So, hopefully it was worth your time. I haven't published like the PowerPoint thing, but I think it's on the Drupal.camp site. I think got it in here somewhere. Anyway, yeah, here it is. Oh yeah, no, it's in files. Yep, you're welcome. Yeah, here's the presentation file. There. I guess I can press the button, eh?